The Biden campaign amping up scare tactics ahead of the CNN presidential debate. A new memo reading, quote, "The American people will see two distinct visions for the future on stage in Atlanta. President Biden's vision, where freedoms are protected and all Americans have a fair shot, and Donald Trump's dark vision, where he will serve as a dictator on day one."
Isn't it weird how the Biden's campaign just has Trump's view? I mean, don't it be better if we just go to the RNC and let Trump give us his vision? We don't need Biden's That's the beginning of the scare tactics. You trust your political party so much that you begin to let them tell you about the other side. You don't need to find out for yourself. You don't even want to hear it. It's just so horrible to listen to. So you put all your trust into one party.
But Atlanta voters might not be on the same page. Our next guest went viral with her unforgettable show of support for Trump back in April at Chick-fil-A.
So I don't care what the media tells you, Mr. Trump. We support you.
We love
you. And that was heartfelt. I mean, to see young people even out that close to a politician, even though it's somebody that a lot of black people would, I wouldn't want to meet Trump, and I don't have a desire to meet the man, but if I did, I'd take advantage of that opportunity with him being the president. And every time a black person comes up to him and says something favorable, he moves the Secret Service to the side and waves him in. Hey, come here. He's like locked in. More than what I see out of Biden. Biden doesn't seem to be too excited when black people are around him. He's used to them.
Okay, 4 p.m. We've been 4 p.m.
Come here, let me give you a hug.
Please do.
Conserve the Culture founder, Michaela Montgomery, joins us now. Hey, Michaela.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for coming on. You're an Atlanta voter, and you're voting for Trump. You're supporting him. Why?
Absolutely. I think Trump is the best candidate that we have out right now. And
that's just an honest statement on her opinion. In her opinion, Trump is the best candidate we got out there. There ain't nothing wrong with a black person feeling like that. I mean, we need to stop beating and bullying on our folks to get them to feel the way we do. When we're already in the high 80s, low 90s of support for the Democrats, what do we want? 102%? Just get what you got. And if you find a black person who has strayed off to the Republican side, sit them down and run off that long list of accomplishments that the Democrats have done for us. And then that person will probably jump right over to your side. And if you don't have that long list, then that's where the fear tactics come in. If you don't have a bunch of positive things that you can sit down and grab a young person by the hands and lock them in and say, listen, I know you're hearing a lot of bad stuff about Kamala Harris, but Kamala Harris has done this, and that. And just run the list off. Let them know. Let them know what Biden has done for them. And let them make up their own mind. But don't tell them what Trump is going to do. None of us know that. None of us are psychic.
And considering that I've lived through a Trump presidency and a Biden presidency, if I have the option of staying the way things are or going back to the way things were, I'm definitely ready to make America great again.
Okay, what did you...
Yeah, I don't like that make America great again stuff. Every time I hear the black people in the MAGA, because America was never great. Or since we arrived, and we arrived around the time the white people arrived, and they really messed it up. It was really a pristine, nice place, but wars and killing and taking and stealing and raping and all those things. So yeah, if that's great, you know, maybe he has a different mindset than I do, but I don't look at that as great.
You think when the media was trying to say, oh, you just happened to be at that Chick-fil-A, you stumbled into him, he bought you milkshakes, you weren't really supposed to be there?
He bought you milkshakes. They're trying to come at her like Biden and Kamala, and when the Democrats are out there on the campaign stump at chicken joints buying chicken, and they want everybody to see them putting hot sauce on their food, wink, wink, and then they bite into it, and it's theatrics. I wasn't at that event there, but it looked a little different. Trump walking through the back of the kitchen. I don't know if he was there for the employees or what, or how this young lady found out. But she was explaining her story there, and it was getting pretty interesting.
I think that's kind of ridiculous because, number one, you should fact check first. I got a call the night before telling me that President Trump was going to be at Chick-fil-A, and I was super excited to be there, and I got the word out to my students that I also mobilize weekly, and they were also super excited to be there. So there was no, oh, we're jumping for chicken and milkshakes. It was, we're jumping because, oh, wow, here's our next president.
They're a little offended, huh? No one wants to feel like, you know, you can get them out with a chicken sandwich or nothing. That's embarrassing. If somebody says, well, I don't know a lot about voting, so they were giving away Chick-fil-A sandwiches, so I went out to hear what they had to say. I could understand that, but to get up and start battling folks and fighting folks over a candidate that you really know nothing about or you don't know the full facts, you know, it's best to get better informed. And I'm very careful about getting into arguments with black people because it's more important for me to have a good relationship with another black man than it is to have a good relationship with the Democratic Party. So I don't want to forfeit my relationship with my brothers just to be right about something politically. I'd rather just continue to talk about it in a way that we at least had a level of respect or can acquire a level of respect for each other and then move forward. But there ain't no need to be hating black men over Biden. Please. Biden is the reason we need each other more than ever.
What are you expecting for Thursday? Because based on that memo, they're saying that he wants to give tax cuts to the wealthy. He's going to be a dictator on day one after that joke when he said he's going to close the borders on.
She said, after that joke, when he said he's going to, shit, how you know it was a joke? It might not have been. But it's funny how you can see Fox, how this host is kind of spinning it that way. I'm very proud to have a black person on too, I might add. I mean, that don't happen too often, but I don't like when the right does it either. They all use scare tactics, but I think in a political sense, more scare tactics are used from the Democrats toward blacks than in any other area that I've seen. Republicans say some pretty messed up stuff, but they ain't no scare tactic. They mean that shit. They not playing. Y'all think that's a scare tactic. If you ever get those Fox from Friends or those the Five Alive or Five and One Man Out or whatever that goddamn show is, man, they get on there sometime and it's like they forget they on TV. You be like, woo, they really let a little bit too much out. And I appreciate that. It's just knowledge for me, and I can't hate them. This is a racist country. This country's never done it. The government has never done anything for us. And I'm going to sit here and be mad at a TV show with a bunch of white people sitting around telling the truth or slipping out bits and pieces of the truth.
Day one. And they're going to, pull out the convicted felon ticket. What do you think?
Well, number one, I don't see anything wrong with closing the borders. I think the migrant issue is an issue greatly affecting the black community and all communities.
Yeah, you got, God dang it. I love this child. She has got it together. And if you don't agree with her, look at however old you are and look how old she is. What were you doing when you were her age? Isn't that inspiring, though? To know that she's out there getting after it. She's trying to lead an organization. She's out there at I think she's 24 and she's on national TV, at least being able to voice her opinion. It may not be completely right or accurate, but it's her opinion, and that is huge, and that's a beautiful thing. And rather than be mad at her for what she's saying, we should support the person who's saying something.
Really. Next, when it comes to the felon issue, I think this is a great opportunity for President Trump to make a priority the restoration of felons' rights. That way felons can regain the right to vote nonviolent.
You see what I'm saying? He had his hand burnt on the stove. Now you can turn the temperature down, Mr. Trump, and let some of them people come home and quit ruining these people's lives. But this young lady, this is beautiful. You guys, rather than argue, we should look for people like this. Do you guys know what the young people in your lives like? Because I was shocked, but it was maybe 10, 15 years ago I started talking to younger people about politics, and I was shocked then. So I'm not shocked now because I've never stopped. But I do understand. These young people got some way different views and visions than us. For them to disengage is cool. And just let the white people do what they want to do and just don't mess with them. They just don't want to be bothered and they want to be left alone. And it's like, wow, what a novel concept.
Felons can regain the right to bear arms, and we can stop felons from being barred from getting good jobs and, decent places to live. Lastly, when it comes to the dictatorship comment, I've personally met President Trump. I've personally sat and had dinner with this man, and looking at how he seeks advice on things that he's not fully aware about lets me know that a dictatorship is nowhere on his radar.
And what if she missed it? What if he sat there and tricked her? Ooh. But you big old grown men is more scared of Trump than that girl is. She sat down and had dinner with his ass, and I bet she didn't have a pistol in her purse. And look, she's still here. I mean, sometimes our minds can hold us back, and they're really there to move us forward. Let's start utilizing them for the good and not for the evil. If you can find a meme or somebody can tell you something really bad about a particular candidate, and you just go around spreading it because it plays into what you want that person to believe anyway. And it may not even be something as bad as to disqualify them for a job like the presidency, like Kamala having an affair with Willie Brown. And that's quite well known and talked about. And some people even go as far as to say that's how she climbed the rungs of the political ladder, is by having affairs. Willie Brown, of course, we know about. Were there others? Who knows? Who gives a damn? I don't care. If she showed love and qualification to represent us as black people, then I wouldn't even care about none of that stuff. But I do look at that as a chink in her armor if she goes on to be shady acting and, speaking in different circles, different ways. And that's the one thing I like about Donald Trump. It's probably the only goddamn thing I like about him. But the man will get in front of a various amount and an array of audiences and be the same goddamn asshole he was in front of this one. He's going to just depend on how you come in him. Is which one you going to get. He sit down with that fucked up look on his face, and as soon as you ask him a question, it better be correct, or it better be polite, or it better be showing him some level of respect. Because if you're coming at him like you the news reporter and you trying to break him down to your level so you can tear him apart in that interview, his first response will let you know that ain't happening. Whereas Democrats is more into how they look. They're usually ready for those events. Kamala seems to be one of those people who kind of loses character. She's not able to stay on message when it comes to that kind of stuff. You cannot be going to a campaign rally, which is supposed to be a joyous event, an event where you hit your crowd up with all the information and positive thoughts and talking points of your campaign, and you in there getting thrown off by a couple of people yelling some stuff from the crowd. You got a microphone, they don't. Everybody in the room ain't gonna hear them. Only the people who are over there buying them. You could drown them out on the mic. All you got to do is say, you know what? I really do it, but we came here for this. Our time is limited, and we're not going to be able to address you guys. But we do appreciate that you do, don't come at them like you want them yanked out of the room. I think one time I saw Obama pull that was slick too. They was in the back screaming, and his Secret Service was on their way, and he was like, no, hold on, let him, give him a minute, and then and they left him alone. I was like, damn, because it makes people look at you differently. Like, that's the opposition, and it's an act, it's some bullshit, but it does work. She ain't even got that. Remember McCain? Remember that lady said she didn't like Obama when he was running against Obama? Because he's an Arab. Or some shit. And McCain was like, oh, shit. He was in a spot. He could have sat there and said nothing and been looked complicit. But he had to say, no. He's a nice man with a nice family, and he had to say something nice about him. You're on the campaign trail, and this lady done put you in a bad spot, a horrible spot, and you had to go and say something nice about Obama. Everybody was like, people was looking at that like, damn. But that really speaks more about McCain than it does Obama. For him to be able to still say something nice about him, and he could have very easily, the way the country was feeling right then, that could have been a very telling moment. Some people start softening. And we can still soften and grow as a country, but we have to be honest with each other. And when we get people of the Obama and Kamala type in office, who use us to crush our skulls as they climb up, stepping higher and higher and higher, and we pushing and getting them out there, and then they get up there and nothing about us. Oh no. They talk about us behind closed doors. They strategize against us after we know, wait, if you ain't got nothing else, you got to have a base core who will never leave you. That's us. That's us. But we will leave you, and I've left, and some of us others got to get in the bus, and we got to go, because they are not there for us. Kamala, all of them, they are not there for the Congressional Black Caucus, all those senators, and sorry about that, those senators and all those people in the House, absolutely not doing a thing for us. The one that just passed away, though, Sheila Jackson Lee, I think, in Texas, I liked her. I believe she was caught up in that bull that they do too. I mean, we're so afraid to get in the way of AIPAC, and what we should be doing is taking down notes and figuring out how they work and what they do and why they're allowed to do what they do, and do it the goddamn exact way they doing it, because it seems to work. And what is the Latino or Latin Congressional Caucus and the Asian Congressional Caucus? Read their mission statement and then go rewrite yours so that it looks like theirs. Yours was written before theirs, and theirs should emulate yours. But apparently they got it and you didn't. We need to get these politicians out of office with a quickness who ain't up there supporting us. We need to quit pretending. We need to quit letting people get on MSNBC and Fox News. Fox has a few who do the bidding of Fox, and they get them up there and they say things that some black people won't say. So they have to find somebody that have to pay them to say it. All that is got to go away, you guys. We got to turn the volume up. The longer this goes on, the more you'll hear, well, no one's even alive. It happened so long ago. Well, if it happened so long ago, and if no one's still alive, why are we still making laws to make things right? It ain't ever going to be right, because you guys keep patching the road instead of repaving it. The road needs to be repaved. A pothole here, sure. You're going to get another one and another, and dips and cracks. But what you need to do is redo the whole road with black people in mind. Because until you take care of black people, that's always going to be there. And you right now, the wind is at the white folks' back. Right now, even black people are saying that we don't deserve reparations, or we shouldn't get reparations, or sympathizing with America, saying basically there's no way they can afford to pay it. That's a lot of money. You just can't afford to pay it. And I'm one of those people who will sit in a dark room and figure that shit out. And that's what I've done. And I've heard a lot of stuff over a lot of years, and every black person has that responsibility to their self. That if somebody ever walk up to you and try to put you on the spot, you better have an answer for their ass. But what would you think is fair? And I'm real with mine. I took scratch paper and pens and all that stuff. I wrote, I slept, I napped, I meditated. They owe us over $1 trillion in the cash side of things. The land, that's negotiable. But if you give us that $1 trillion, we can forfeit the land argument. But the cash alone is $1 trillion old. The land, like I said, negotiable. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it's got to be. And we as black people have to continue to push those things. That's what I'm telling you. You guys might go home and figure out it's $3 trillion. And if I invite you here on Black Popcorn to express yourself, you tell me about your $3 trillion, I'm going to tell you about my $1 trillion, and I'll bet you this. I bet you we don't argue it. I'm not going to be saying, I don't know. $3 trillion, that's way too much. I want to listen to you. I want to know how you came at that. I mean, hey, pain and suffering, all kind of other stuff you can include. I don't know. But me, myself, $1 trillion, land we're going to negotiate on, and the third component to that would make everything straight, and it needs to start immediately, is complete tax exemption for black people. No, on houses, on cars, on goods that we buy in stores, some kind of a card that identifies us as who we are. And when we go in the store, tax exemption, because they're taking our tax dollars and using it for the Mexicans to come into the country. A portion of that belongs to us. And we didn't vote. We didn't sign up for that. Any of you black people are with the Democratic Party so hard that you guys are writing blank checks and giving it to them, then that's on you. It ain't. But I ain't with it. And I feel as if when money is being sent down there and it's taxpayers' money, and then you send more over to Israel, and then you send it over to Ukraine, then you got other amounts of money you send in all these other countries on just automatic. What you call it? You know, when you got to pay your bills on just automatic, you just set it up. You don't even have to think about it. The money just going. And if the United States is able to do that, and they ain't open up one of those accounts for black Americans, but they're able to open them up for all these other people, all these other countries that are living good lives, better lives than us. Why is healthcare such an issue in America? Why are black people dying at such young ages, been working to be such old ages? Why is that happening when countries that we support have healthcare taken care of? Countries that we support. Why are we supporting a country that have more than we have? You guys got to let that sink in and quit being afraid and bullied and tricked. And if you listen to only one side, it'd be very hard to like the other side better because you know nothing about them. That's why some of the people on the other side don't like us, because they don't know nothing about us. We ain't approached them as much as they haven't approached us because we got this goddamn Democratic Party standing between us. I bet the Democratic Party couldn't make the Republicans quit talking to AIPAC. I bet they couldn't go in there and tell AIPAC, you can't talk to the Republicans or we won't talk to you. They'd be like, bullshit. We talking to whichever administration is in power. Point blank, period. Don't y'all like facts, though? They make me smile. I feel really good right now because facts just do that. And this young lady here is inspiring, too, and not just her, the whole generation. I love it. I'm around my grandkids. I see young people in the street. They different than we was. It's a little, very different. Shit. But I don't want them to lose their blackness, and I don't want them to understand that or lose the fact that the culture that they're living in, for the most part, is created by our generation, and it's been stolen, taken, whatever. Anybody see the breakdance in the Olympics? You know what I'm talking about. Did y'all see that? If you didn't, go to YouTube, look at the breakdancing competition and who won it and all of that, and then think back when black kids in New York used to drag those big old pieces of cardboard around. They just throw that shit on the ground and tear it up. Now it's an Olympic event. Wonder how many black people made billions from it.
Additionally, Donald Trump isn't the type to go and just do what everybody says just because. So the fact that this fear-mongering tactic of a dictatorship being what's going to happen immediately after our election day in November, I think it's ridiculous. And honestly, they have nothing else to campaign on, so this is all they've got.
Bam! If you got something good, you ain't going to keep on talking about that. How many times, ladies, have you ever been with a dude? Oh, you don't really like that much. You might not even really be with him. But another guy comes along, and you like the other guy a little better. And this may have never happened to you, but if all that motherfucker do is sit up and talk about that other dude, how long are you going to be? You might be interested in him at first, but then after a while, you'll start thinking like, God damn, motherfucker, what is good? What you got going good? All you do is talk about this man. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's the kind of shit I'm talking about. You ain't going to like that motherfucker for very long. And you might not like that other one either. You might leave them both. But what I'm trying to tell you is the Democrats are doing that kind of stuff to us. They're going to take over the country like you have. They're going to harm you like you have. You know what I'm saying? When you really look at it deeply, scratch the surface, you guys.
And what do you make of all these scare tactics? You have ladies on The View wondering if President Trump will kick them off the air. You have
Yeah, that's bad. Whoopi Goldberg, she's just a mess. She up there embarrassing us like that. Whoopi Goldberg is not a dumb person. She's a very intelligent person. She know better than that shit. Getting on the View and acting hysterical. And she's a millionaire, a multi-millionaire. And what in the hell is Trump going to do to her? What if he do kick her? What is that going to do? That ain't going to do anything. It's not going to hurt her one bit. She's still going to go to the grocery store and get the shit she needs to survive. And she's going to still have a house and the ability to maintain it. Sitting up there trying to scare a bunch of poor people. It's horrible. What is going on with these celebrities?
Matt Al saying he'll put her in a camp. You have AOC saying that she could go to prison if Donald Trump's elected. And now you have the scare tactics with the latest campaign ad saying that Donald Trump wants to take away abortion and IVF and birth control.
Well, we all know that the abortion access debate is very much, I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but
bullshit.
That's another, again, fear tactic, because the idea that you wouldn't be able to make decisions when it comes to your own body just because there's a federal law in place that mandates when you can or cannot get an abortion. I think that argument is very, very flat and baseless, because how is it that you even got into a situation where you would need an abortion if
you didn't have complete control of your body?
You didn't have control over your own body. Next, of course, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. I can't remember the second part of the question.
We were talking about the scare tactics from some of these TV hosts.
Okay, yes. I think the scare tactics are the only way that they can, it's a kind of like a catch and grab thing. Like, hey, if we put out this headline that scares a lot of people, it's highly unlikely that they're going to do additional research on top of this. So if we scare them enough with this headline, then we can definitely scare them enough to the polls in November, and they're going to vote based off of this headline versus Bill.
Yeah, she's, in a nutshell, she's absolutely correct. And it's really horrific to think that people that we look at, Whoopi, D.L. Hughley, Al Sharpton, all these people who are just kind of in the entertainment side of the industry, and people look at them and put a lot of faith and trust in them, and they just mislead them. They just lead them up to white people who are just going to take advantage of them, or just to get that vote. And they know. Do you know that Al Sharpton has the position he has because of us? And he does nothing for us. As soon as he gets up there on the MSNBC set, he's an authority on black people. He's going to get up there and tell you the way you should have voted. Because what happened to you? He's just a mean person, because his livelihood, he has to be a leader and a speaker for us in order to have an existence. Once we can prove to them how we really feel about him, his job is done. He'll be up out of there, and a lot of other ones.
Voting based off of actual research.
Yeah, that's why these debates are so important, because you actually can watch and hear it out of the horse's mouth. You can learn more about their issues if you watch them and not have to rely on liberal media spreading lies. Thank you so much, Michaela.
And you guys spreading lies too. But she's right. Liberal media will spread lies just like y'all. That's what the goddamn problem is. And really listening to both of them is if you just like Saturday Night Live type bullshit. The best thing you can do is read online real news because even some of these news outlets do have writers who write on some of the back pages and on some of the stuff that you won't see in the mainstream. And look into political news. And a lot. To the point where you get the basis of what the hell is going on. You ain't gonna ever be able to quote all the statistics and the dates, and people try to walk up to you and say how many illegal aliens came into the country. And if you say a whole goddamn lot, you're right. That's a good answer, because you don't have to give them no number, but a whole fucking lot of them, and that's the truth. And the problem with that is they're okay with it, and they made us okay with it. I see black people fighting for the illegal people coming into the country harder than they fight for our own advancement. Make that make sense, guys? It doesn't. It doesn't make any. No one can make you feel that these new people coming into the country who don't pay taxes have a higher precedence than we do. It's impossible. But they made us believe it. I've argued with black people, and they feel like the Hispanics are being harmed. I've even had black people tell me that this used to belong to Mexico. And that's not even nothing. I don't care who owned it. I know where we're standing is not a good place 200 years ago. If we're standing in the same locations that we are right now 200 years ago, it'd be a whole different story. So I don't care who owned it.
For coming on.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian.
And oh, that was the end of it. Good. But yeah, you guys, you gotta hit me up with some comments. Let me know. Am I tripping really? I mean, I've been getting hit with people who I respect, people who I care about, people I'm related to, and they want to fight and argue because they think that I'm being like a person who's tempted to go and vote for Trump. And I'm gonna tell you guys, if Trump opens up his doors to some kind of a delegation of blacks who we trust to go in and do some negotiating with him, and at the conclusion present a package to us letting us know for our votes this is what the Republican Party and Donald Trump will give us, I'm about to consider something like that, because the Democrats have never done it. They give us what they want us to have: a statue, a holiday, you know what I'm saying, a park. Nah, we need to tell them what we need. We don't need them to give us what they want us to have. Giving people to you is not, if they convince us to vote for Obama and then they convince us to vote for Kamala, and we get a male black president and a female black president, and then we have people like Mitch McConnell, the leader of the Republican of the Senate, saying things like, well, you guys had reparations. You remember Barack Obama? If they think that giving us, see, what he's obviously not clear on is that black people are no longer property. So you can't give a person to another group of people as a form of reparations. Obama can't be reparations. Kamala, and there is film footage with Mitch McConnell saying that. He looked at Obama as reparations. He's a slave owner's descendant. That kind of shit shouldn't surprise you. But for all of you who want to jump online and argue with people, especially those of you who don't follow news on the regular, don't do that. I mean, it makes it more difficult than it has to be. Why don't you talk to that person and ask them some questions if they have more knowledge than you? And if they don't, then find your own sources. But don't be on there arguing and you don't know what you're talking about. And Kamala Harris is up there making you guys look like fools. You can't be at a campaign rally admonishing people, Mamala. That's just not going to work. That means shit ain't going to work. And for some reason, for some reason, we seem to like her more than we liked Obama. And Obama was more charismatic. Obama was more genuine. Obama was something we'd never seen before. Obama fucked it up for her with me. Let me know how you guys feel. I'm going to wrap this one up. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on my next video. Talk to you later.